So today we are covering 311. This is word problems. If you're having a hard time with the problems, we can go over them at lunch or, but do the best you can today over the weekend. They should be easy. They're the easiest kinds of word problems, and we're going to keep seeing these over and over again. So, Abe cut a piece of wood into two parts so that one wood would be 13 inches longer than the other. If the original piece was 45 inches, how long is each piece now? So, what are our unknowns? Lior? Two pieces of wood. How do we differentiate them? Give them a name with a word. Something that would make a word to describe them. Go.
Well, I guess maybe for like the longer piece, you could do...
Longer piece?
Yeah.
And the other one? Shorter piece. Perfect. So we've got two pieces of wood. We're going to call one the small piece and the other the short piece, or the long piece. Whoops. Now, the one that they give the least information on, what do they give us less information on, the short piece or the longer piece? Let's go, Ethan.
The short piece.
The short piece. So that's the one we call X. They give us more information on the long piece. So 1 would be, that's your is, equals, okay, 13 longer than other. So how am I going to write that one? Go.
X plus 13 equals longer piece?
Yep, X plus 13 equals longer piece. So those are our unknowns. And now how am I going to build this equation? I've got a small piece and another piece, and then I have they make up the big piece. Yes.
You add the small piece and large piece, so X plus 13 equals 45.
Perfect. And then what do we do? Yep. Go.
Combine like terms.
Which would be?
2x plus 13 equals 45.
Okay, and we don't really need those parentheses. What that does is it kind of says small piece plus large piece. That's it. And then keep going, Omer.
I just had a question. Could the large piece be a different variable, like a y or something?
Sure. Today we're solving with one variable all of our problems. Eventually, when we get to chapter 7, which will be our next chapter, we will be using two variables to solve. Today I'm teaching you how to solve with one. Define it with the other variable. One with little information, and then use that to define the other one. So what would I do next, Brady?
Subtract
13, and we get 2x equals 32. Divide both sides by 2, and x is equal to 16. So what does that mean? Go back to the story. Go back to the story. Wilfred?
16 is the small piece, and the large piece is 29.
Because we add 16 plus 13.
Yes.
Now, you could put that right here because you defined it if you don't want to rewrite it all. And it would be inches, right? Make sure you're using units in the story. Yes. Yes, you have to define your unknowns. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a habit I'm trying to get you into. Okay? Okay, next. The length of a rectangle. Oh, dear. Okay, the length of a rectangle is 5 less than 3 times its width. If the perimeter is 30 feet, find its dimension. Step 1. What are we looking for? Go, Tyler.
The dimensions of
Which is the
width
and the
and length.
length. Length and width. Okay, so step 1, they mentioned the word rectangle. I'm going to draw it. Length represents long, the longer side. Width represents the smaller side. So, sometimes I like to think of a football field. The length of a field is the long part of the field. What do they give us less information on? Eden. The width. So we are going to call our shorter side width X. Okay? And then I'm going to label it. Now, they give us a translation. Length is 5 less than 3 times width. And I want everybody to notice that word than. Similar to this poster up here. Right? Than creates that crisscross effect. So what is that going to look like? Someone I haven't heard from. Kayla or Riley? Kayla. Length is 5 less than 3 times width. Length is length. Okay, go on. Yep, Josh.
Is it x plus
3 times, how do I show 3 times width?
3x?
Good. And we know that this is 5, and in the middle, that's a minus sign. But we have to crisscross it because it says than. What does it become?
3x minus 5.
Right. So that length is 3x minus 5. You guys with me? Okay. So it's really kind of right there. Now they give us one more thing and they say the word perimeter. That implies a formula. What formula? Go, Matson. What? No, that's area. Miguel.
2L plus
2 lengths plus 2 widths. So now we have everything we need to do to solve this. So we know that for perimeter, we're going to write 30. For the lengths, we know it's going to be 2 times the quantity of 3x minus 5. And for the width, it's going to be 2x. We're using the same variable. What would I do next, Linus? Yep. Plus 2x. Good. And now we're going to add 10. Add 10. 40 equals 8x. Divide by 8. Divide by 8. X is equal to 5. So now, if this is 5 what? Brady?
5.
What? 5 what?
Oh, 5
Feet. And then what would the length be?
The length would be
10. 3 times 5 minus 5 is 10 feet. Got it? Questions? Okay, learning how to translate. These are going to be really a lot of the same, but the math is going to change. All right, so the next one is a consecutive integer problem. Consecutive integers. So I'm going to put like half of what we're talking about here. Okay, and I'm going to draw, let's pretend, here I'll show you what we'll do. We'll go like this. We'll go like this. Go like this. I'm drawing with white to get rid of that line. Well, okay. So, okay, so here we go. So here's a number line, guys. So when we talk about consecutive integers, can anybody tell me what that means to be consecutive? Okay, so what does consecutive mean again? In a row, something in a row. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D. things that are right next to each other in the alphabet or numerically. So let's just say, if I were to number these, I don't know what they are, but let's just start with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay? So if these are my numbers in consecutive order, right? Right now we know what they are. What am I doing to 7 to get to 8? Linus? We add 1. So if I don't know these, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I erased the white. Okay, so if I don't know, let's say this is my x. What do I have to add to that x to get to the next one? Ethan?
Plus X?
No. What am I add to 7 to get to 8?
Plus 1.
Right, so what's the next digit going to look like? What? What's the next digit going to look like?
So would it be X plus 1?
It'll be that x, but plus 1. You with me? So, Ethan, what would the next one be?
Plus X plus 2.
Plus x?
Oh, it's X plus 2.
X plus 2. What would the next one be? Layla? Leah, sorry. X plus 3. What would the next one be? Wilfred?
X plus 4.
X plus 4. You get the idea? And what would this one be right before it? Wilfred?
X minus 1.
X minus 1. X minus 2. That's how we call consecutive integers when we don't know what they are. So what happens if I have, okay, again, this time I'm looking for consecutive, what would consecutive even integers look like? Yep. Who do we appreciate, right? What would consecutive odd integers look like?
7, 9, 11, 13, 15.
Perfect. So everybody understands the idea of even integers, odd integers. Well, let's look at what we'd call even and odd integers. So if this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If this was x, what would I do to get to the next even? What do I do to x? Go, Armin.
Add 2.
So how is it going to look?
X plus 2.
No,
Oh,
it's going to be, what do I do to x to get to 4? Or to the next x plus 2? Good. What would I call the next even integer, Armin? X plus 4. Because I jumped 1, 2, 3, 4 from x. Is everybody clear on that? And what would the next, what about this one? What would this be called? Go.
X minus 2.
X minus 2. Okay, now this is where it gets tricky. Ready? Now I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now I'm talking odd consecutive integers. I'm going to call this x. What do I have to do to x to get to the next odd integer, Reef? Yes. So what did I do to 3? I added 2. And it takes me to the 5, right? So what am I doing to x? I'm saying x plus 2. What would the next odd integer be? Kayla? X plus 4. You get the idea? Now what makes this tricky is that when I ask for odd integers, I'm adding 4 and 2. You with me? So, but we are still using those even numbers to get to those odd integers because it's 2 units apart. Yes, Josh?
So it's like it's all about being, it's all about where it started,
Yes.
not what you add to it.
Right. It's, well, to get to the next even, you have to add 2, and to get to the next odd, you have to add 2 every time. All right, so let's use these. The sum of 3 consecutive integers is 75. And if you don't do this beginning part, I won't accept your work. You must identify your unknowns. So what are we calling our first integer? Go. What? X. We're calling it X. Write this down. What am I calling the second consecutive integer? Linus? Consecutive. X plus 1. If it had said even or odd, it would have been 2, but it says, okay, what am I calling the next consecutive integer? Yes.
Plus 3.
Nope.
So
X plus 2. Okay? And they asked for 3 consecutive integers. I'm done. Now, what am I going to do with those since they asked for a sum? Tyler?
X plus 1 plus X plus 2
Equals?
equals 3x plus 3.
Nope.
Oh, 75.
75, the problem. It says the sum is 75. So now we combine our like terms. We subtract 3 from both sides. Divide both sides by 3. And x is equal to 24. And now we get to make sense of it. What's 24? The what? The first integer is 24. 24 plus 1. 25. That would be the second integer. The third would be? And now we can put in my answer column on a test, you can put them in the braces, right? So it'll be 24, 25, and 26, since the braces imply a list. Yes?
Can we just make the braces, or do we have to write?
Yeah, that's fine. That should be fine. Okay, but you definitely need to identify and do this part. You understand that? You must do that. I will not even look at your work if you're not doing first identify what your first integer. I don't care if you put the answers here or here. You can do that in two different ways. Okay. Yes.
Do we have to, for example, write let x, or can we just write x equals first integer?
Yeah, we could just do x equals. Right. The sum of 4 consecutive odd integers. How am I going to name them? People I haven't heard from. What are we calling the first integer? Aaron? X. Elton, what would the second odd integer be?
X plus 2.
Yep. The third odd, Leah? X plus 4. Harrison, they want 4 consecutive. What would be the fourth odd integer? Good. And then, what is the equation going to look like, Max?
It would look like x plus 2 plus x plus 4 plus x plus 6
Equals, and then we're going to combine our like terms, subtract 12. I get 4x equals negative 52. So x is equal to what?
negative 13.
Negative 13. What would the second integer be, Wyatt?
The second integer would be negative 11.
11. What would the next integer be? Okay, we'll go to Yuri. Negative 9, and then we have negative 7. Is everybody clear? Okay, the next one is a little bit different. It says the smallest of 3 integers, consecutive even integers, is 18 less than twice the largest. So we have a lot. It sounds really confusing, doesn't it? We're going to take it a piece at a time. They mention the word consecutive even integers, so we have to identify our unknown. What's the first one called? X is the first even. You must do this. What are we calling the second even? Dylan? X plus 2 is the second even integer. And what I mean by integer, there's no decimals or fractions. It's negative, positive, whole numbers, which includes 0. What would the third? It said 3. 3 consecutive. What is that, Ben? X plus 4 is the third even integer. Now, we have to do some translating. What's the smallest? Smallest, everybody? X. So I write it, X, and then it says is, okay, 18, I have less than, twice largest. How do I show twice the largest? Cynthia? 2 times the quantity of x plus 4. And this is 18. And there's a minus sign, but it says than. So what's this going to look like? I liked how he showed me with his hands. So Max?
It's going to be 2 times quantity of x plus 4. And then minus 18.
Minus 18. So did you notice I switched this over here and this over here? And now we're ready to do it. Now somebody said, but wait, it's not using the second integer. Doesn't matter. We just needed it for definition purposes. They want 3 consecutive. We're going to need it. So now we get x equals 2x plus 8 minus 18. So I have 2x minus 10 equals x. Subtract 2x, subtract 2x. Negative x equals negative 10. Multiply by negative 1, I get x equals 10. So the first even integer is what? 10. The second? 12. The third?
14.
Or 10, 12, 14. Okay, questions? Okay. One more problem. Now, we're using our, now we're going to put things together. The lengths of sides of a triangle, I'm drawing the triangle, are consecutive even integers. What do I name? Is there a formula for triangles? Perimeter? No. Not. It's really just side plus side plus side. It's not area, it's perimeter. So, what am I calling one side? X. It doesn't matter where you put it. Just call one side X. What are we calling the second side? It says even integers, so we're doing x plus 2. The next side. And then we add them all up and set it equal to the perimeter. 3x plus 6 equals 24. Subtract the 6. 3x equals 18. Divide by 3. X is equal to 6. So if x equals 6, what's the second side? Go.
8.
8 inches. And what's the next one, Miguel?
It's 12 inches. 12.
8, because we're doing, no, it's not 12. Yep. It's 10 inches. Okay, are there any questions? I know I went through that quickly. I'm going to stop the recording, and I'll take any other questions. You can always go back and pause the recording.